So I heard you want to grow a big back quickly and naturally. I have the 3 things that will help you grow your back as quick as possible. And these are the exact 3 steps that I use to make my back go from this to that in only 6 months naturally as a teenager. And these are in ascending order. For example, like number 1 is the most important, number 3 is least important, even though it's quite important. So might as well start off with number 3, and that would have to be exercise selection. Now, with a lot of TikTok gym subculture stuff, it is very easy to get caught up in optimal, suboptimal, stuff like that. And I get that to a point, but not every single perfectly optimal exercise is perfect for everyone else. So for example, I have a lower back injury, something like a barbell row. While it's great for the back, I can't do it anymore. My lower back hurts and it sucks for me. However, I do like doing it sometimes because it's kind of fun. So this is what I used to do. I used to do pull-ups, wide grip pull downs, V-grip pull downs, T-bar row, barbell row, non-chest supported row, and a rear delt fly of some kind with a dumbbell machine, whatever. So with the knowledge that I shared, that my lower back hurts, doing something like a T-bar row or a non-chest supported row really suck. Lower back injuries are nothing to mess around with, and I really messed around with it, and I am suffering to this day. So I do nowadays, I'll explain, what muscles they hit and stuff like that, and you don't have to copy this program perfectly. It's not completely perfect or optimal because there's no D handles.
Are you a Nicki fan?
What? Am I a Nicki fan? Pull up in the Sri Lanka. What? What?
The person that you see in this video is Eli. Thank you so much for helping me. This video would not be possible without these beautiful demonstrations of perfect form. So what I first do is a lat pull over. This really helps warm up the lat. I use this as a warm-up exercise and it feels great. I get a better pump. I get a really good mind muscle connection out of this, and it's a staple in my program now. Next, I do a wide grip lat pull down. This works the lats and the teres. Now, yeah, there's a little bit of redundancy there. However, a weak point of mine is back width, so doing a little bit of lat work is not too bad for me. Next, I do the mid row. This works the entirety of the upper back, and I can do, dumbbells or machine. You can bias it to do like lats as well, rear delts, traps. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic exercise. And you can even like superset it or cluster set. I don't remember what the exact terminology is. But once you fail, you can, shrug it back as well to get some mid-trap action as well. Next, I do a rear delt fly for obviously the rear delts and the mid-trap. The rear delts are really neglected. I mean, they're not really fun to train if I'm being completely honest, but they give you a better V-taper and they give you better posture. And the reason why these aren't worked out as much, or they look smaller in comparison to something like a front delt, is just due to the nature of how the front delt works. If you do like a bench press, an incline bench press, any type of pressing motion, the front delt is very active. And a lot of people, myself included, have very overdeveloped front delts and not much side and rear. This t-shirt is doing me dirty. I have bigger delts than that. That actually sucks. Now, next what I do is a trap. And instead of shrugging up, I kind of shrug back like this. Now that is due to the trap fiber's orientation. Now next would have to be volume. I was definitely overtraining. The sheer slew of exercises that I said, I would do 4 sets for each, which is a lot of junk volume. I'd wake up and I'd be sore for a week, which is not good, especially if you're doing something like a PPL where you train each muscle group twice a week. Have something that is still sore. You can't train it effectively because it just hurts. It doesn't feel so good. And overtraining definitely held me back, and it honestly kind of regressed my progress. I was not getting stronger in the gym. I was getting weaker some days. Overall, bad time. Now, the most important thing would have to be ego lifting. Now, I know it's cliche to say something like that. However, I had that same mentality where
No, I'm not ego lifting. I'm just really good at this.
I didn't realize I was ego lifting until I saw a form video of me, and that is horrific. I will not show that. That is horrible. That does not deserve to see the light of the internet, because I'll get made fun of for the next generation, and I'll not be able to show my face in the fitness community ever. So what I used to do is I'd basically make the lift as easy as possible. I kind of like jerk the weight, kind of do that. That would cause a lot of injuries. The amount of times I've like pulled a lat doing that is unbelievable. So what I do now is, especially with like a pull down or something like that, is I like to kind of have the weight pull my shoulder blades like this, kind of like an anti-shrug, and I feel a better stretch doing that, and I hold the bottom for 2 seconds, and I get a better pump, I better mind muscle connection, and I don't ego lift as much. Even though I was technically stronger as basically just moving more weight, which is not technically stronger because I was pulling a lot with my bicep, which is very dangerous, especially if you go into heavier weight and you're pulling solely with your bicep. Your bicep is not meant to pull 200 pounds. That is not what it's meant to do. But I was doing that, and I'm lucky I walked away with no bicep tears, even though my bicep inserts suck and it looks like I tore them. It is definitely difficult to really realize when you're ego lifting, but something that I do that kind of helps me pull myself back into, you know, reality is I kind of check what is pumped. Pump isn't necessarily a indication of hypertrophy or muscle damage, but you can use it as a tool to determine what muscle is being used. So let's say you're doing like a lat pull down, for example. It's just the easiest to say, and you don't have a lat pump, but you have a bicep pump. Now you're using your bicep more if you have a bicep pump rather than a back pump, and it's something that I use pretty often because mind muscle connection in the back especially is very difficult, and also you just look alpha as when you pause the weight for 2 seconds and you just really do that. Anyone who goes to the gym for a while goes like, ah, this guy. No one does that. No one cares. I hope these tips help you, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.